As social unrest sweeps the globe, from Hong Kong in Asia, Lebanon and Iran in the Middle East, France and the United Kingdom in Europe, to the discontent in Sudan and Zimbabwe and other parts of Africa, to Chile and Venezuela in South America. This 350-page report argues that inequality is a common thread and could be a blueprint on how to tackle development in the 21st century.
We seem to be confronted with an increasing sense of discontent, of frustration that manifests itself in some of the political extremes that are emerging in national political debates, in the national political landscapes, but also with increasingly violent reactions that we have witnessed. And these responses or reactions on the streets, so to speak, have a lot to do with development outcomes and development choices of the past.
Achim Steiner and the authors of this report argue that this is not a story of development failures, quite the contrary, in that development has delivered success stories, including bringing millions of people out of dire poverty. But they also point to what we are witnessing right now and make the case that policy responses that are being developed are simply no longer adequate or acceptable to large numbers of people who no longer perceive them to deliver fair outcomes in the 21st century. The report argues that new generations of inequalities are opening up around education, around technology and climate change, that if left unchecked could trigger a great split in societies everywhere.
Inequalities in all dimensions of human development are still high. Inequalities are high and widespread. And one example is if we look at what happened to a child born in the year 2000 in a low human development country compared to a child born in a very high human development country. In the low human development country, there's a 17% probability that the child is not alive today, 20 years after she was born. While in a very high human development country, there's only 1% chance that that child is not alive today. And more than half of the children born in the year 2000 in a very high human development country are in higher education today, while only 3% in a low human development country are in higher education today. So inequalities in human development remain high and widespread.
The report analyzes inequality in 3 steps: beyond income, beyond averages, and beyond today.
Understanding inequality and also framing responses to that phenomenon at local, national and international level, because at all 3 we are challenged, requires us to think beyond income. It's not the economy anymore, stupid. It is much more complex. And it may have been in the 1980s, but it certainly will not answer to the phenomena we are witnessing every night on our television screens and we can read in newspapers about what is happening and how people are reacting. It is also beyond averages, because averages do not capture the distributional reality.
European countries dominate the top 10 of the Inequality-Adjusted Human Development Index, with Norway, Switzerland and Ireland making up the top 3. South Africa is at 113th out of 189 countries listed. Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.